I feel like I might instantly regret after I did this video, but fuck it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I posted on my story a few days ago asking just if you guys wanted to hear some fucked up shit that happened past wise, and I don't know, I kind of just put that out there because I feel like a lot of people have me figured out, but then like a lot of people don't. And as much as like I'm not one that has to really prove something to somebody, but with the platform that I'm starting to reach and starting to take place on, I would like the people who I surround myself with to kind of have a little bit of an idea of the type of person that I am. And the reason why I'm bringing this story up specifically, it just kind of has to do with something that I posted on social media about a few weeks ago and how it got all this attention and whatnot. So I guess let's just get into it, I guess. Forewarning, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I hope it's not like 5 million hours long, but I hope you guys will kind of learn why I ramble and why I can't talk when it comes to being on the internet. You put a camera in front of my face and I just shut off. So yes, backstory. You guys know me, obviously a lot from social media. You guys know that I post videos of like doing Ariana Grande like cover looks and doing makeup and like fashion and things like that. A lot of you guys didn't know though that I sing, and it's hard because I never want to be that person who is like, oh yeah, like I'm the shit. Like you guys didn't know that about me, but like I can sing, and I've been singing, and I've been singing ever since I was little. At first my mom was like, oh, like that's cute, you know, like she does this and she can sing and yada yada yada, whatever. And then finally didn't start to like it I felt like it clicked for my mom at a point. One time at a talent show when I was in the 4th grade, I want to say, me and my old best friend, we wanted to do a talent show and we wanted to sing. And so my mom got us matching outfits, like she did the choreography, and I remember, and my mom still tells me to this day, she's like, I don't know what it is, but the moment you stepped out on that stage, like I knew, like you can't teach craft, you can't teach stage presence, you can't. And she just kind of like was like, dude, like mom will help you if you want to pursue this. So with that being said, ever since I was about 8 or 9, I started to take music a lot more seriously. I was auditioning for, you know, choirs and shows, and I was doing private shows, I was doing private lessons. It got to the point where I was asked, and this is why this is such a key, like I feel like it's important, because I'm not just like, oh, I can sing, but I really can't. A very well-known, and I don't want to name names, but a very well-known celebrity voice coach asked me if I would do vocal lessons with him. And before you guys are like, this story is gonna get weird, it doesn't get weird in that aspect. It gets really fucked up in another way. And so my mom would literally take me about a few times a week, and I would go rehearse and things like that. So it got to the point where like it wasn't just a hobby for me, and it wasn't just like, oh cute, like she can hold a tune or whatever. Like that was gonna be a career, and that was gonna be what I was gonna do with my life. And the backstory that I'm gonna be giving you guys kind of leads to why I'm telling you this story today. So just before I actually get into the story, I posted I want to say 3 weeks ago, I posted this video on my Instagram story. Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. Well, you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composed it. Hallelujah, 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 rocking chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, hallelujah. And it blew up. And I'm not one of those people, like, I don't like to exaggerate things on the internet, like, oh, like millions of people watched it and like a bunch of it, like, no, it wasn't those. But I will say, like, I received over 30 messages in my DMs, like, what the fuck, like, we didn't know you could sing, why haven't you like posted this on the internet before, like, why don't you do this as your main thing? And I have never received such positive feedback, especially from the internet, ever. So it definitely took me, it was a shock, that's for sure, which kind of leads into why I'm telling you guys this story today. So yes, going back into why I don't post videos. I guess this is kind of leading into why I don't post videos of myself singing on the internet and why I get really nervous on the internet, yada yada yada. So as I was telling you guys, you know, I was really into music. I was probably singing like very seriously starting at like 8 or 9, and then I was working with my vocal coach, I want to say 4 or 5 years after that, if not a little bit longer. So essentially this story is kind of leading up to when I got into 8th grade. So let's start there. This is where the story starts. Again, sorry if I'm rambling, you guys will learn why in a second. So I was in choir myself in the 8th grade year of middle school, and this is a key part that's important, because I know a lot of people thought that a choice was made because of favoritism and things like that, and it wasn't. So in 7th and 8th grade, I was going through a lot of stuff at home, family-wise, especially with my parents. So my music teacher at the time, I still love him to this day. He's probably one of my favorite teachers ever. He was like a second father to me. And a lot of people took to that as like, oh, well, he's playing favoritism and yada, yada, yada. And which wasn't the case, because he was always very quick to be like, no, Mariah can sit down and this can go to this person, or the solo can go to this person, or no, Mariah needs to work on this. Like, Mariah is not the favorite. And I think that's where a lot of people, especially with what happened, I feel like a lot of people kind of had that idea. So leading up to this, sorry, I know I feel like I'm rambling a lot, for our 8th grade graduation, and yes, I'm from California, where I feel like everything just has a graduation for no fucking reason. But we had our 8th grade graduation, so it was a month and a half before the graduation was, and for graduation they were having someone sing the national anthem, and then they were having somebody sing a song as well. Both you had to audition for, okay? And let me just make that very, very clear. This was not, and this is why I mentioned the favoritism thing, this is not something that was just given. It was something that you had to earn. And the judges who chose the people that got to sing the national anthem, as well as who's going to sing the song, it was our music teacher, it was our principal, our vice principal, and it was another, some supervisor or something like that, like somebody else who was in the office. Needless to say, I auditioned, I got it. So, and again, the reason why I kind of wanted to tell the story, because I feel like especially a lot of people who were there back in the day and who thought they knew it all and really just shit on me when it came to like my singing and things like that. I didn't get these opportunities because I was a favorite, and I didn't get these opportunities because I kissed someone's ass, or, you know, like, I got these opportunities because I was good and I was talented. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way, because I promise you I'm not that type of person. I simply got it because I deserved it. And so leading up, yes, I got I auditioned to sing the song, and I got it. So it was one of my good friends at the time. She was singing the national anthem, and I was singing the song, and anytime I hear it, I'll be out in the malls and the stores, and it like gives me instant PTSD. But the song was Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. So obviously, once I got the part, we auditioned up until the week for graduation. So with that being said, I was working in a music room. I was working with, proper equipment, a microphone, things like that. Like, real shit. And with that being said, the graduation took place at a football field. So obviously anybody who's ever been to high school or has ever been in a music program or whatever, a sound system in like a banquet hall or a music room or even a music hall is going to sound entirely different than how it sounds on a football field. That's just facts. So I remember 2 weeks before the graduation, I remember the vice principal coming up to me, and she was like, hey, just wanted to let you know, a few days before the graduation, I'm going to take you and such with your parents to the football field, so that way we can go over the music, you guys can hear how you guys sound, because it's going to be completely different. I already knew that, but I'm glad that they were taking further steps so that way we can really rehearse, because obviously, like I said, it's going to sound completely different. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I was really excited, you know, like, this is great. You know, I've never sang at a football stadium. So, like, you know, this is going to sound different. I'm excited to hear what it's going to sound like. So a few days go by, and it's that day where we were going to go to the football field to, like, do the whole performance, just to rehearse and things like that. And the vice principal comes up to me and she's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. We already know you guys sound perfect. You guys don't even need to rehearse. Like, everything is going to sound exactly like it sounds. If you guys can't already tell where this story's going, like, and I can't even make this shit up that I'm about to tell you, like, this whole story, like, I can't make it up. Like, all this shit really fucking happened. So I was like, okay, like, are you sure? Like, I think it would be really great for us, like, to hear it sounds, you know, because it does sound a little bit different. She's like, no, like, it's totally fine. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be okay. You guys are going to go and nail it the day of. So I didn't even get, obviously, the only time I got to rehearse the song was in like my music class. Like I did like rehearse like after school and things like that. Like, I would do rehearsals, but like I never got to hear what myself sounded like until the day of the graduation. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Not a single fucking clue. So, day of the graduation happens. So we get there, and they're like, okay, obviously they're gonna make an announcement, then she's gonna go, and then you're gonna sing your song. And I was like, okay, cool, great, awesome. That morning too, I just want to give a little bit of a backstory. That morning, I remember singing that song in my mom's bedroom at our old house, in the old bathroom. Fucking killer acoustics, by the like the echo and the acoustics in there, phenomenal. So I remember like singing it a cappella and like just nailed it. And I'm not trying to brag, but like it was just a proud moment of like this itty bitty thing, like just belting out, and it just sounded really good. So I was really proud, and I was genuinely like so excited, like, I'm gonna nail this, like, it's gonna be great. Also, backstory I should probably give you guys before I continue into this story. A lot of people that were in that audience that day were fucking people that wanted to see me fail. Like, utterly, like, and that's a whole nother story for another day. I can't even begin to tell you guys how severely bullied and tormented I was growing up. Like, I'm like shaking, I'm trying not to cry. And that's why I was so proud of myself that day when I was in the bathroom singing with my mom, because like I finally felt like, fuck, like, all these people that want to see me fail, like, I'm just gonna nail it to them. They're like, you know, they're gonna, you know, bite their tongue, like, I'm just gonna kill it. So I'm sorry. So anyway, getting back on track to the story. So I go up there to sing after the girls already sang the national anthem. It sounded beautiful. It was great. Cool. I go up there, and so they're like, so, few things. And in that moment, my heart sank. And I was like, okay. And they were like, so just want to let you know, when you sing into the microphone, it'll echo back in the machines 2 to 3 seconds after you've sang the note. So if nobody knows what that means, the moment I sing into the microphone, you won't hear it until 3 seconds after I've sang it. that's a little bit hard to do when you're trying to sing to a track and it's playing your voice seconds after what the beat it's supposed to be on. So that was number one. Number two is we couldn't get the song to play on the stereo, so the best we can do is we have a boombox that was like this fucking big. But like we have a boombox and we're gonna hold a microphone up to it and we're gonna play the music off of the microphone and you're gonna sing. At that point, I should have just said fuck it and just sat back down. But of course, like me still being like, you know what, I got this, I'm confident, it's gonna be great, like I'm gonna do this. So I was like, okay, not a problem, I've worked with worse, let's do this. So they start playing the song and it starts skipping. I can't make this up. The track starts skipping. And so I'm starting to sing and then I could already hear myself delaying and I was like, oh my God. And so little sassy on me, I was like, no, play it again. Which got a laugh from the audience, so I'll give myself that. And I was like, no, play it again. So they restarted the song, still doing the same thing. So I looked over at my music teacher and I was like, I kind of did one of those, like, you know what, I'll just sing it. Like I was giving him like the turn off the music, I'll just sing it a cappella. And so obviously you can tell how that entire story went. I was singing and it was delaying, the music was cutting in and out, and of course at some point I started crying because all the kids that were in the audience, obviously these kids that I'm graduating with were also some of the kids that were just fucking mean and tormenting me and bullying me. They were all laughing. And so I got to a point where I started crying, but I still finished the song. I will give myself 110% that I finished the fucking song. And that was that. So graduation happened, my teacher came up afterwards and he was like, dude, like I fucked up, like I'm so sorry, like, and of course I was like, you know what, it's water under the bridge, like I have a month before we go into high school, like it's whatever, people are gonna forget, like it's not that big of a deal. This is where the story gets even more interesting. Okay, so again, just want to give a backstory for everybody who thought what they thought about what they thought really happened or what didn't happen, or that's the truth on that part. That is 100%, I'm not making any of that up. I auditioned for the song. It wasn't just something that was given to me. It wasn't my fault of what happened that day. And I know everybody who fucked up would own up to that to this day. It was that what happened was entirely not on me. I definitely got put in the hot seat as far as things just going to shit. So yes, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. A week later, I get a text from one of my friends, and they were like, hey, we think you should check this out. And I was like, and it was a link to YouTube, and I was like, okay. And I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm really not. I'm like, oh, like it's gonna be some funny video, whatever. So I go to click on it. And it's this girl talking about how, oh, so I went to my brother's graduation just this last week and and this happened. And she started talking about me. And she started talking about how I ruined this whole graduation. How dare they let some girl who couldn't even hold a tune get up there and sing, and just bashed me. And mind you, at the time I was 13 years old. The girl who made this video was 23. Now, it's so weird because I remember at the time, like, 23 is, like, to me at 13 years old, like, 23 is a grown-ass woman. Like, I'm gonna be 23 in a few months. Like, I am not grown. Like, I'm grown, but I'm not that grown. So, like, being who I am, like, being at the age I am now, like, I can still understand people at my age are still fucking just horrible fucking people who do fucked up things. So, but at the time I was like, how could somebody do that to a child? Like, that's just, so, yeah. So the whole video got posted on the internet, and it was just, I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like, I was simply just like, I really thought like this was gonna be over. I was gonna just walk away from this and it was gonna be fine. And then it got worse. because I went down to the comments. And rule number 1, if you plan to be on social media at all, stay away from the comment section. It is fucking dangerous. And it was funny because not only were they fucked up comments, but they were fucked up comments from the people who tormented the living shit out of me. So not only were they not done in middle school, they took to the internet, found the video. I don't even know how everybody found the video, and I can't even begin to tell you how many. And it wasn't just 1, it wasn't just 2, it wasn't just 3. It was like over 50 comments of just fucked up, just, mind you, some of these words I didn't even know at the time. Like, one of them, somebody called me a dyke under the photo. I didn't even know, and again, like, this is how sheltered I was as a kid. Like, I didn't even know what that meant at the time. Obviously I do now, but like, it got to the point where, you know, people were telling me to kill myself, and like, they were right about me, and, you know, like, you know, this is why we don't let ugly fat bitches sing at our concerts and things like that. And a lot of those things affected me, one of them being the fat comment, because a lot of people didn't know this at the time, but I was really struggling with an eating disorder till I was about 16 or 17. I was bulimic for quite a few years, and I used to starve myself, and I used to think I was fat and I didn't look like everybody else, and need be, I was, you know, a 00 trying to be even smaller than I was. And I wish I could hug my old self and tell myself that I'm sorry I did that. So that hurt. And a lot of people didn't know too that after those comments were made too, I never, besides the eating disorder, I never self-harmed myself. But the day after that, that was the first day that I started cutting myself, and I started hurting myself, and there were a few times where I tried to kill myself. And I know a lot of people don't think that that's a big deal as far as the video being posted on the internet, and oh, like, you know, don't be so sensitive, you should just get over it. But when you're, you know, but when you've been having people tell you fucked up things like that since you were a little girl, you know, like, eventually it starts to bug you. So yeah, so from there on out, I stopped. From there on out, I stopped singing. I completely quit my private vocal lessons. I pulled myself out of, like, competitions that I was in. I pulled myself out of, like, meetings that I was gonna get that were going to potentially get me, like, recording deals. Like, it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just a hobby. Like, it was genuinely gonna be something that I pursued for the rest of my life. And I hate to say it, but at the time, those people won. They won. I gave up everything that I loved. And in high school, I tried, and I think that's why a lot of people still shit on me to this day, like, because I wasn't a good singer or whatever. I would audition for, like, solos, and I would audition for, like, just to do private stuff, like talent shows and things like that, and I would nail it. Like, I would sound fucking beautiful, and then I would get out on that stage, and I would see all those people in the front row that just wanted to see me fail, and I broke. And in looking back, I can now understand why people thought I couldn't sing, or people thought I was horrible, because as soon as I got up there, I sucked, because I let everybody get the best of me. And even when a lot of people don't know this, but where I used to live, I transferred high schools from my junior to senior year. And even when I got to my new school, it wasn't anything new. I still got really bullied. When I moved, everything was very cliquey down here, and a lot of people like to think, like, oh, no, it wasn't, but it was. And the new school that I was at, especially in the choir, and here's the thing, this is how I knew, and again, I'm not saying this to be cocky, I'm not saying, like, oh, I'm the shit, but when I moved down here, the choir auditions that were being held at my new school were already closed. Like, you couldn't audition whatsoever. My mom, being the way that she is, emailed my music teacher and was like, he became my music teacher, but emailed him and like, you gotta hear my daughter, like, you've gotta give her a chance. I know auditions are closed, but like, you will not regret it. Thankfully, he let me audition, and with the audition, you're supposed to sing 1.5 minutes of a song as well as give a dance number. And then he decides which choir you get to be in. I auditioned a 30-second snippet of a song. I did not dance. I did not do the 1.5 minutes that was required. I sang 30 seconds of a song. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, I'm not choosing what choir you're in. You tell me where you want to be and I'll put you wherever you need to be in my choir. So that in itself, again, not saying any of this to be cocky or brag, it's moments like that where I wish I knew what I had and I let people diminish that. So yeah, when I got in this choir, everything was like super clicky. Like, it got to the point where like my music teacher even told me, like, obviously, because there was somebody in this choir, and I'm not gonna name names, who was like Miss Diva and ran the whole show, and the problem was I was a threat, and they knew that, and they didn't like that, and I let that person take advantage of me. Now, 5 years being out of high school, I realized that, and so that's why even through like that time of high school, there were so many auditions, and my teacher was like, if you audition, he's like, I'm not just gonna give it to you. He's like, but you have to audition. I will let you pick whatever solo you would like. And I didn't, and I kicked myself, because that is one thing I wish I should have done, is again, I let people walk all over me and minimize my talent and minimize the person that I was, and it ate at me for years. And so getting to my point of all this is why I don't post videos of myself singing on the internet. I know a lot of you have asked, and I don't know what it is. Even when I'm doing my makeup tutorials, and I know a lot of you probably don't notice, but I am the most awkward motherfucker you could meet on camera. Like, I don't know how to function. I tense up, I say dumb things, I'm, as much as, you can grow from trauma, and as much as you can get over things, it's kind of like this little thing called PTSD, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. No matter how much you outgrow something, it is still there in the back of your head. And so that's why sometimes, like, yes, I still get nervous, but that is the biggest reason why to this day I don't post myself singing on the internet. It's not because I don't think I'm good enough. It's not because, it's genuinely because I got so scarred of something that happened so long ago, that not only happened a long time ago, but continued years after it happened. It's not something you just kind of get over. But there's one thing that I learned from that day, and it's that, again, I'm not saying this, and I know I've repeated myself, I intimidate people. And I know I intimidated people back in the day, and I know that the people who said the things that they did and tormented me in the ways that they did, they were cowards. And because at the end of the day, especially when it comes in the internet, and this is one thing I've tried to preach to you guys, and this is one thing that I tell people all the time, is people on the internet, they're just hiding behind screens. They can't hurt you. What, so because you called me a dumb bitch, or because you called me fat? Like, and I've said this to you guys multiple times, because looking back at it now, those people that bullied me, or those people that minimized my talent, those are the people who couldn't sing for shit. Those are the people that didn't have mom and dads in their lives. Those are the people who fucking did stupid shit in high school and were low lifes, or those are people who peaked in high school. Like, and I'm not trying to bash anybody or minimize anybody. What I'm just trying to get to the point is, if there are multiple people trying to dull your shine and dull your sparkle, it's because you have something that they wished they possessed. And I am not saying this for myself. I am just saying this for anybody who ever feels like they are not good enough. For anybody who feels like, why is this all happening to me? And why? It's because you are great. It is because you are magical, and because you possess something that not a lot of people can, whether that be your heart, whether that be your mind, whether that be the way you sing, or your fashion sense, or your your courageousness to not be scared of the world. And so that's why I'm so passionate about now on my social media, why mental health is so important to me, and why we need to stand up to bullies, and why it's because I lived it, and it's because no one deserves that, and it's because deep down I know that I possess something great, and I refuse at 22 years old to let anybody tell me what I can and cannot be, and to let anybody minimize the person that I am. So I told myself I was not going to be one of those YouTubers that's like, I can't help it, I'm sensitive, bro. So yeah, with that being said, that's a little story time of why I don't sing on the internet, why I get so nervous. But I made a goal for myself this year to pursue the things that I love, and I wrote it on a mood board. And you know, as much as it's gonna tear at me sometimes to post things or be bold or use my voice, God gave me that talent, and I need to use it, and I need to stop letting people hurt me, and I need to stop letting people minimize that. And with all these people that follow me, that's just advice that I give to you guys is, you're great, go be great. Don't let anybody minimize the person that you are. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. With that being said, I love you guys, and thank you guys for listening to me rant. And see you guys in my next video.